Usama ibn Zayd, the youngest commander-in-chief. Long ago in Mecca, Saudi Arabia, in the year of 615, a little boy named Usama was born. His father was Zayd radhiyallahu anhu, an Arab slave and later became the Prophet's adoptive son. His mother was Ayman, also known as Barakah. She was an Abyssinian slave who worked for the Prophet's parents and later took care of baby Muhammad ﷺ during his childhood. Both of Usama's parents got their freedom and was very close to the Prophet all throughout their lives. And because of that, Usama radhiyallahu was like the Prophet's grandchild. From a very young age, Usama radhiyallahu was very active. At the age of 12 years old, he joined the first battle at the Battle of the Trench. At the age of 14, Usama radhiyallahu lost his father at the Battle of Muta because of the bad Romans. At the age of 15, he joined the Battle of Hunain, and in that battle, when the enemy suddenly attacked the Prophet's army, many of the Muslim soldiers got scared and ran away. But the brave Usama and his older half-brother Ayman radhiyallahu were two of the few people who stood by the Prophet to protect him. Some of the other brave people who stood by the Prophet were Abu Bakr, Umar, Ali, Abbas, and Abu Sufyan, peace be upon them all. But unfortunately, Usama radhiyallahu lost his only brother Ayman radhiyallahu in that battle. Even though Usama radhiyallahu was young, he continued to stay brave in that scary situation. During the last year of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's life, he picked the young 17-year-old Usama radhiyallahu as the army commander-in-chief to stop the bad Romans. But many of the older Sahabas did not like that because his father was a slave and he was really young without leadership experience in war. But Muhammad ﷺ liked Usama radhiyallahu strong iman and his amazing talent. At last, the Muslim army decided to follow Usama radhiyallahu and they started their journey. But on the way, they heard the Prophet got really sick. So right away, they came back to Medina to be with the Prophet. At that time, the Prophet was so weak that he couldn't speak at all. But when Usama radhiyallahu came to the Prophet's bedside, the Prophet raised his hands and put his hand on Usama radhiyallahu for the last time. Soon after that, the Prophet took his last breath. After Abu Bakr radhiyallahu became the first caliph of Islam, he decided that for his first order, it should be to follow the Prophet's last order. So he called out the Muslim army and told them to go to Syria and stop the bad Romans who were planning to attack the Muslims. But in that critical moment, many of the Sahabas were scared to leave Medina. But Caliph Abu Bakr radhiyallahu gave them hope and told them to follow the Prophet's last order. Some of the Sahabas came to the new Caliph Abu Bakr radhiyallahu and told him to remove Usama radhiyallahu as the commander-in-chief and to have a more experienced leader instead. Hearing this, Caliph Abu Bakr radhiyallahu got upset and told them that there was no way he was going to change the leader because it was the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ who confidently chose Usama radhiyallahu as the army leader. Finally, the Sahabas understood the situation and accepted Usama radhiyallahu as their army commander-in-chief. The young and brave commander, Usama radhiyallahu, led the Muslim army to the Syrian area. But by that time, the Romans already took control of the northern Arab parts. The Roman army was very big and really strong compared to the small Muslim army. But with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's help, the Muslim army won. This was huge for Usama radhiyallahu because it was the first battle after the Prophet's death. and his first time being the leader of that army. And because of his huge success, the Romans felt scared to attack the main center of Islam. By the time Usama radhiyallahu and the Muslim army came back, a total of 40 days had passed by. And they came back with lots of valuable war items that made the Muslims really strong. When the smaller Arabian tribes heard that the Muslim army protected themselves from the big Roman army, they realized that the Muslims were still strong even though the Prophet was no longer with them. Later, Usama radhiyallahu joined many other battles to protect Islam. And he died in the year of 680 in Al-Jaruf in Tunisia during the Umayyad dynasty when Muawiyah was king. Usama radhiyallahu, the son of 2 slaves, was a black 17-year-old who showed the strength of the Muslim Ummah when everyone thought that Islam would disappear after the Prophet's death. He never let his young age be an excuse for doing great things in his life. Even when so many people didn't believe in him because he was so young, he kept his faith in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and showed his true talent and bravery to the entire Muslim Ummah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him the highest place in Jannah. Ameen.